Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jerry Paul, and today we're staying inside because Canada's on fire and we are catching the aftermath of it. Anyways, the air is unhealthy to breathe outside, so little baby Stella and I, we're hanging out inside. We just got a bunch of puzzles done, whole bunch of other games, so now it's time for some bonsai work. Long overdue. I'm going to prune up my pencil cactus. I have a lot of them that all came off of one plant. This mama plant here. Oh yeah, you're riding the elephant? Cool. And you could see she's getting some age to her. This is all trunk. So very interesting species. I have trained this one to do complete weeping style and just be absolutely out of control coming out of the fireplace. And as you see, like many of the babies that I made from this plant, there's a lot of new growth. So the new growth comes out in bright green and yellow, and then over time it gets that darker green. For indoor species, these are also well known for outdoors in like arid desert like environments for turning pink and hues of red and such in the warmer months. Yeah, actually even indoors sometimes I do get a pink hue on some growth when it's summer and longer sunny days. So anyways, I'm going to show you how to avoid the sap from getting into your eyes or endangering pets or little kids or anything like that, as well as utilizing the cuttings to propagate and get some new plants for you, your kids, your friends, whatever the case may be. So, pencil cactus and Stella. That's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Can you stop climbing for a second? What are you doing in there? Oh, it's all your bows. Here, when we get down, we're gonna go do play with trees. Wanna come help Daddy? Come on, pop down. Oh, there was one more. Okay, good girl. Can you get down, please? Can you ignore me? Come on. Come on. Good girl, let's go. Hi. So in the other room, we got it all set up. This is typically a Stella free zone, but I think I'm gonna just remove the dog's water. So I've got this one set up, ready to rock and prune. And where's the other one? Oh, and right behind it on the ground, there's another one. So those three major ones are what we'll be pruning up. I do have, I have this one, which is in there with a Christmas cactus. But I think it's just finally like coming into its own as a plant. So unless these two continue to just be, singular trunk and long and skinny, which I'll end up pruning those off, I think I'm going to let it go and just let it fill out and get happy. These two, both from cuttings, really took a long time to get going. So yeah, so I'm going to set up the tripod and we're going to take a look at that pencil cactus. All right, so I called in the assistance of Miss Rachel, Stella's favorite show on YouTube. If you had a toddler or baby out there and you haven't tried it, it can be a lifesaver. Really good learning channel. And like all of the people that are a part of it are huge in the Broadway and New York City scene. So they're composers, actors, actresses, just friggin', they're awesome. So way more talent in what they're doing than me with bonsai. But I do know me some pencil cacti. So you see here, obviously the straight vertical growth. It's not just easy to pick out because it's a lighter color, but it's just simply growing against everything I've been creating here. So you're gonna see some white sap start to come out. Okay. I'm just going to take a pint glass here, lined with paper towels, and I'm going to set them all in there. So that'll absorb enough of the sap to, I'll let it sit in there overnight. And then in the morning, I'll take the paper towel out, I'll fill this thing with some nice fresh water, and they'll all begin to root as cuttings. And the rooting as cuttings can take as long as 6 weeks, but I've seen them kick off a few in as early as 2 weeks. And the question I get often is it better to root the newer growth? Is that easier? Or some of the old growth? What roots best as cuttings? And to be honest with you, it depends on each different time. I've had 100% success with just straight to water. I've had 100% success straight into soil. Same with letting them do this thing. And then I've had them all fail before and rot early on, and everything in between. Some succeed, some rot. So don't get discouraged if at first, they all rot on you. Maybe just try a different method, try a different window or not a window to put them in. Just see what works for you. There's too many variables for me to tell you exactly what works and what doesn't work. Time of year, age of growth, location of where you are, the age of the overall plant, those factors matter. So don't overthink it. Just do it. They grow, prune them, you get babies from it, cool. If not, try again. Or don't. So I find it attractive when they come out weeping and then the new growth kind of creeps up a little bit. I don't think that distracts from the weeping crazy nature of this tree at all. So I am going to leave, that one's got to come out. And we'll take this one out. So the sap that comes out, it's white. I have had people online buy cuttings from me for medicinal purposes. The sap can be used for many different homeopathic treatments. Definitely for digestive issues and that specifically. That's why the guy was buying it from me for that time. But they get a bad rap because some moron squeezed a lot of juice into his eye one time and had a sight or vision loss. So everybody says, oh, your animals are going to die, your kids are going to go blind, you're going to lose an eye. I've had even somebody leave a message saying that it hasn't happened yet, but it's bound to, about me going blind because of this tree. And I'm just like, dude, it just makes me want to do it that much more, and even without precaution. But I will be cautious. I'm just saying, people leaving weird, crazy, mean messages on YouTube is just odd to me. All right, so there's our cuttings. And there's our pencil cactus. You know what? It's got a lot of nice branches. I'm gonna leave it. With my luck, I would prune that and the whole face of this would just come out. All right, taking my cuttings, tripod. Oh, Stella disappeared. Yep, so that's Miss Rachel. Anybody with babies, toddlers, I say go for it. All right. I'm gonna get this one set up. And this is the planting that is grown through a conch or whelk shell. It's a little too degraded for me to be able to tell. And that is a little doll that represents Laura, and a message in a bottle that says "One Love." And it's after we really have enjoyed some nice trips to the Caribbean prior to Stella, and hopefully one day again soon. So anyways, you see this one has just gone crazy, and this originally started as a cutting just like so. behind that. Same exact age as the other one, but you see this is much more tree-like. So I haven't designed this one to be very weepy. I may leave this one, I may chop this one. Let's get to it, huh? Stand by. All right. So I don't know if other video creators out there have noticed this, but even when I put all of the music rights for copywriting and all of that, when I do a hyperlapse and try to put some music in there, I get copyrighted and it blocks it, and I just don't have the inclination to argue with YouTube about it. So I don't know if you're also having problems with that, or if there's some simple new switch, like I have to do a hashtag or something. I don't know. Holler at me and let me know that. It's definitely frustrating because, you know, I like to do a full video, hyperlapse some parts that are boring to see, throw some music on now, but if the whole video is going to get copyrighted for it, I find that just ridiculous. Especially when I'm naming the author or the composer, creator. So hook me up with that information, people. Oh man, so this shell is cutting into the trunk a little bit. There's a sharp part there. No, that was the second shell. Alright, so the larger shell is really pretty cool. You can see the inner swirl. I'm thinking it's probably a whelk. It doesn't look wide enough at the top to be a conch. They're cousins. And here's a baby one. So this branch here is actually thicker than the bottom portion before it starts to branch off. So I'm gonna make a really nice cutting out of that. I'm gonna leave a little bit of room for dieback, say 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, just so it could harden off. Usually it'll turn into like a little scab, and either I just leave it or I peel it off if it's ugly. Right, so if you have large pencil cactus and you're going to do some cuttings, you'll probably want something taller than a pint glass because this thing's tipping over like crazy. And that is definitely the cool thing about these. If you put it in like something the size of a pint glass or larger, little vase filled with water, they make a great centerpiece on a table or in a window. Pretty much anywhere you put them, it's decorative through the rooting process, which not every tree cutting is pretty. Usually you got to take the leaves off and that. This one, nope, none of that. All right, so that big branch is off. I think that solved a lot of our problems right off the bat. The canopy's just so heavy, even those strong roots are rocking. So get this rock in here just to stabilize it. No. Trying to get it so a rounded part of the shell is what the trunk's leaning up against and not a cutting edge. Alright, solid temporary fix there. One love, one Laura. Okay, so this guy's standing out a little bit. It's going straight up where the other ones are kind of in a windswept direction. We'll drop him off. Boom. This one right here is growing up and across the rest of the trunk lines. Boom. Sometimes You look at a tree and you're getting ready to prune, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start. I've said this before on many videos, just start. And it'll start to come together. And a lot of times you end up doing a completely different plan, but don't just avoid it. Avoidant behavior in bonsai just gets you root bound and overgrown. Vertical with that one. Oh, I'm gonna have some sweet cuttings for the farmer's market. My wife gave me that idea. She's like, did you have any of those there? I said, no, because these are really eye-popping and attractive. I had them at the Fall Harvest Festival last year, and I believe they all sold, and they weren't even rooted cuttings. They were just regular cuttings. So I'll get them started rooting, and if people buy them, they won't have roots yet this Friday, and if they don't buy them, maybe by the time they do, they will. Just going to take the longest one out here. I want this nice full windsweptness. Awesome. But I do want to take a little bit of the weight out. So I'm thinking this right here too. Boom, boom. I think I'm going to take this one out. It's going in the right direction, but it's going across another branch, and it's just got a nice straight shot there. It just didn't look nice in the middle of that canopy there. So you'll see some sap kind of bubble up to the top where you made the cut. That's probably, it's the plant's natural way to heal up and get predators out of there. Just make sure you wash your hands after and don't be digging your nasty finger in your eye, which I don't know who does that anyways after the whole friggin' COVID thing, but I think at this point we all have serious lessons on proper preventative sick measures. Keep your hands out of your eyes. Wash your hands. And maybe don't let your kid help you until, you know, they actually listen, which Stella's in a fun, I don't listen to daddy mode, but it's cute right now because she's so little. We'll see how that goes as she ages. All right. So I'm going to leave this because it gives a little bit of balance coming this way. I wouldn't mind developing, you know, it full this way as well. I love these to be wild, crazy, and thick with as much branching as possible. And so I just took a little bit of the legginess out of it. I think that looks good. So let's go ahead and move on to this next one here. It's definitely tilting the whole pot this way. Take that out. I think this is just a little large and heavy for that high, so we're going to take that out. It's not the worst, but it's just I don't want this one to be that large of a planting. I mean, look at that cutting. Already beautiful branching, nice little trunk. And these grow back. They're not finicky. If you get them to root, regardless of quality of soil, type of soil, attention given, they will thrive compared to most. What do we think? I think that's pretty good. I don't want to take this branch out. I think it adds to it. I like how it goes back that way. And these each have a nice wheat coming off of them as well. This growth going that way doesn't hurt. This one came out low and it's going straight up, so not only will it help balance it going that way, but it's also down at the bottom of the main trunk line, so that'll help thicken that up. So not much pruning on that one. Boom, boom. So there we go. Lots of nice cuttings. So I'm going to let them chill overnight. Put them down there with some aloe pups that I have getting ready for the farmer's market. There's 4 of them. And those came from, well, when I was reorganizing this room, I might have knocked the whole large aloe plant over and broke all these huge, awesome branches off. So then I just decided to raise the canopy and see where it took me. So that is the mega aloe plant that filled this entire corner. So we'll see how that one recovers. The only thing I didn't do is prune the top. So be curious to see if it gets some new branching or if it just gets dominant up top, and this will make it kind of look like a palm tree. All right, y'all, so that's going to do it for today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. Definitely pond season and yard season, but as you could see, all that smoky haze, the particulates in the air make it really unsafe to be outside today. And I just assumed that if large areas are on fire, that somehow plastics are on fire, and plastics in the air, that's not good for anybody. That stuff gets in your lungs, can turn into a number of issues. So, from my health specialist side, I would definitely say stay inside. If you're even going to your car, walking outside, wear those masks that you put on the shelf from COVID, and just take care of yourself. It should pass in a couple of days. Hopefully, if any of my homies up in Canada are experiencing this, hopefully you all, your families are safe and sound. And just go ahead. The bonsai community is huge. If you need help, we're here. So I'm Jared Paul, and for my family, yours, cheers.